We move on now to a new segment we're calling Nick's NBA medal. Somehow Nick doesn't have the time to text me back, but he does have the time to sit on 2 separate committees. Nick, give us the top 3 performers from the NBA weekend that was.
All right, let me just set this up for America. You might be wondering, what's the committee going to do when the NFL season's over? Transition to its side gig, which is NBA Medal Committee. We're going to go every night in the NBA, give out a gold, silver, and bronze. Monday show's even harder because we have to take all the games from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think we're starting with the bronze medalist. We haven't really gone over this. It's our first time doing it. Bronze medalist, Paul George. Hey, way off P, play off P, who knows? But I know on a sleepy night in January, there's very few guys you'd rather have. 39 points. Kawhi Leonard didn't have it. He prevented the Clippers from having back-to-back losses for the first time all year. Kawhi Leonard, your bronze medalist. Silver medalist, Jamal Murray. While Nikola Jokic is racking up triple-doubles, Jamal Murray just drops a 36-5-4 to lead the Nuggets to a critical win after a bad 1-4 start. And then your gold medalist, there is no question about it, this might be the performance of the year. One Wardell Stephen Curry with 62 points in 36 minutes, which, by the way, does mean Steph and Draymond last night combined for 63 points. So Draymond maybe should be included in that. But Steph, 62 points, gets the gold medal as the Warriors get a much-needed win over the Blazers. Those, Kevin Wildes, are your bronze, silver, and gold medalists of the evening.
Okay, I'm going to throw the question to Brandon. Brandon, ton of points early on in the season. Nick is already claiming performance of the year, even though we're about 2 weeks into the season. Do you think, or who do you think has the best chance at eclipsing this point total this year?
Ooh, you got to go with James Harden. That's the easiest answer. That's the safest answer. James Harden.
Oh, that's
for which team?
Let me throw it back to Nick real quick. Nick, so all right. You got Steph Curry, most enjoyable player to watch, reminiscent of Patrick Mahomes in the NFL, right? You have said in the past that this guy can't carry his team. Are you starting to rethink that? Because he just had a big night and he's showing us that he could potentially carry the team by himself.
What I said was I'm concerned that he can't carry his team and we need to see him do it. Performances like last night, he doesn't have to score 60 every night, but Steph gonna need to take 25 to 30 shots a night because Kelly Oubre is walking through that door, and that ain't good for them. And Drake, it's also why A&M didn't deserve to be in the playoff. They can't even catch their own coach. All right, let's go on a time warp with me. Before the year, Kyrie Irving's like, hey, finally a teammate who can hit a game-winning shot, unlike that bum LeBron James. So then you fast forward, game 3. The Nets are red hot. They're 2-0. They're great. They're everyone's pick. Kyrie's like, hey, KD, you can hit a game-winning shot. I trust you. KD, clang, clang, they lose. Now things aren't as good. Week and a half later, they've lost 3 of 4. Another opportunity for a game winner. Kyrie says, no, 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 that's my shot. Clang, clang. KD says, oh, I'm going to have a chance to redeem myself. Yes! Oh, no. Okay, so a couple lessons here. One is KD 0 for 2 on game winners this year. That ain't great. Lesson 2, the Nets all of a sudden lost 4 of 5. That ain't great. Lesson 3, Kyrie's taking all of these from now on, and in fact, he's just going to dribble down until there's 1 second left so there's not an opportunity for anyone else to miss. Just want everyone to know what's going on with those red-hot 3 and 4 Brooklyn
Leave my Nets alone. Leave him alone.
All right, so I'm watching the game last night, and Washington scores this great touchdown. Logan Thomas goes up, climbs the ladder, grabs the ball. Unbelievable Logan Thomas catch. I absolutely love the touchdown. I looked to Steph, and I said, remember that show, Hogan's Heroes? More like Logan's Heroes.
What? What? Jenna, what? Let's go.
And Stephanie says to me, don't make that joke on the show. And I said, make that joke on the show? Are you insane? I wouldn't make that joke on the show. I'd be high-fiving myself. Nobody laughs at me on the show. And then Terry McLaurin does this. He's right there. He's got to high-five himself. Terry's my people. He's the Jenna Wolf of the Washington football team. He's got to celebrate alone. I love this guy.
Terry
and so
McLaurin,
with that, and thank you for speaking through my 4 things, I will say Hogan's Heroes, more like Logan's heroes. They're just going to make the joke anyway and celebrate myself. Love it. Keep going. Well, you guys were all fired up during that read. Man. The other standout storyline from yesterday in the NFL, Derrick Henry. God, he was in such a rush this season. Rushed for 250 yards and 2 scores yesterday to help the Titans beat the Texans and win the AFC South. Rushed for 2,000 yards this season, just the 8th player ever to do that. Rush, rush, rush. Where's he going? I never know where he's going. Brandon, what was your reaction to Derrick Henry joining the 2,000-yard club?
Yeah, look, Derrick Henry is the MVP, all right? And if he's not, it's time for us to change the way. It's time for us to change the name of this award to the quarterback award, all right? And then we also have to change our approach to how we talk about the MVP. There is only 2 people in the history of the game that's done this the way he's done it. There's Terrell Davis that rushed for 2,000 yards and 15 touchdowns, and Derrick Henry, 17 touchdowns. This is the hardest thing you can do probably in the National Football League. This is a 100% injury rate. Think about that. All right, before I even get into the injury rate thing, let's talk about this whole what's harder, whether running for 2,000 yards or throwing for 38 touchdowns, 48 touchdowns with Patrick Mahomes, and also where Aaron Rodgers is at. Those guys are in a company of like almost 30 people, 30 quarterbacks who've done that before. This guy lives in a fraternity of 2, him and Terrell Davis, 2 running backs. Do you guys understand how significant this is? We're talking about a running back. Any moment, an ankle can go, a knee can go. It doesn't have to be a game-ending injury. It doesn't have to be a game, season-ending injury. We're talking about this guy being able to stay healthy this long so he can hit this mark. Most of these guys that's done it, it's only been 8. They're going into week 17 needing 150 yards, 160 yards. So it's coming down to the wire to cross the finish line. This guy needed 37 yards, and he went for 254 or something like that. This is absolutely ridiculous. So, Nick, I've been talking about this jet ski and trying to paint the picture of the MVP hierarchy for the last several weeks. I also said that if Derrick Henry goes for over 2,000 yards, he should be the MVP. These guys been going back and forth all year. Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers.
So what's it now?
All right, that's last week. You know what's better, Nick, than riding a jet ski? Riding a dolphin. That's what's better. Riding a dolphin. This is where it's at right now. Derrick Henry is the MVP. That's what it is.
All right. This is great. This is all great.
Fantastic.
And here's what I'll tell you, Brandon.
He's riding a big fat dog.
He's right about that. You've seen a lot of people ride jet skis. Don't see many people ride dolphins. It's a great take. I'm going to meet you halfway, Brandon Marshall. Patrick Mahomes is the MVP. However, he's not going to win it. He's not going to win it. There's a weird thing in the NFL where if you're so good through 14 games, you don't really have to play the 15th or 16th game. They use it against you. I didn't know it was in the bylaws, but that's what happened. So, if it's not going to be Mahomes, it certainly shouldn't be a quarterback who's just like Mahomes, just worse than him. Derrick Henry makes more sense than Aaron Rodgers, who is going to win it. Because if it is... There's two points that you didn't make just to elaborate on it. One is the V in MVP, valuable. The last 7 weeks, the Titans are 5-2. Those 5 wins, Derrick Henry has run for 125 yards or more in all 5 wins. Their 2 losses are the 2 games he didn't win for them. So they are showing you down the second half of the season, they can't win unless he's brilliant. The other thing he has going for him is this. Even the biggest Mahomes fan or the biggest Aaron Rodgers fans would say the gap between Mahomes and Rodgers is not massive. The gap between Henry and everyone else is so show what he leads the NFL in over the last season and a half. Do we have that full screen? I hope we do. I think we do. Because, spoiler alert, everything. He leads the NFL in everything at his position. That's since week 10 of last year. So what's the gap between him and the second most prolific rusher over that stretch? Let's show you. Oh, it's almost 1,500 yards. If you added to Dalvin Cook's total all of Ezekiel Elliott's rushing yards in this time frame, they would barely be ahead of Derrick Henry. So if you combine Dalvin Cook and Zeke into one person, you know what you get? Derrick Henry. So I don't think he's going to win MVP Wilds. I personally would feel better about him winning it than Rodgers winning it. I do know this. He has been the most dominant player at his position, not only this year, but over the last 2 years, as far as the gap between him and everyone else at his position.
Okay, I want to say two things. I want to give Derrick Henry even more credit, and then I also want to tell the truth of what's happening in this segment. And Brandon, you can react to them. The first thing, giving Derrick Henry even more credit, is when Tannehill scored late in the game, that was the whole defense bit on Derrick Henry rushing, and then Tannehill rolled out. So I'm going to readjust the statistics. That should be a Derrick Henry touchdown. It was such a decoy. Nobody thought that Tannehill was going to run. That should be a Derrick Henry touchdown. The second thing that's happening in this segment, Brandon, and I think it's great teamwork and camaraderie that Nick is supporting your take. But there is an element of take my ball and go home right now from Nick Wright. That it's like, if Patrick Mahomes not going to get MVP, you know what? Taking the ball. No one's going to get it. No one's going to eat that. No one's getting it. I'm taking my ball. I'm going home. All the quarterbacks out of here. Wow. And he's looking for anything. So this is not totally on the up and up, America. I'm sorry, it's not. I don't think if Derrick Henry is writing his thank you cards, you can address it to Brandon and me and Jenna. But Nick, you don't get one. I'm sorry.